Session 712, Deleted Portion. The paper Ruber wrote this evening is pertinent and highly significant. Have him show it to you. Indeed, though he dislikes the word, he is finishing the first part of his apprenticeship, in which he became acquainted with a different kind of reality, and had to learn how to equate it with the normal one. Certain strains were involved that were in one way as natural as growing pains. This has nothing to do with so-called psychic phenomena, but the natural growth and development of a personality whenever it tries to go beyond its space and time contact, and takes a challenge of such a natural. In a way, on one level, a personality seems to be operating blind, while in another it is aware of its accomplishments and challenges. Often a situation of unbalance is set up that would not exist had the personality not accepted the challenges and hence the potentials for an even greater development. The more prosaic elements of the personality then take whatever measures seem necessary at the time, while new orientation is tried out. These methods may seem to lead to great distortions, particularly in contrast with the same possibilities of development. They still provide, however, in one way or another, a framework in which the personality feels itself free to pursue its goals. The built-in impetuses, however, provide clue points. When a new sensed reality is strong enough to provide not only greater comprehensions, but also to construct a new framework, then the old framework is seen as limiting and discarded. Elements in your lives were seen as negative simply because Ruber was not sure of himself. Pleas for help were seen as demands, not as opportunities to use abilities, so he felt hounded. He was not sure enough of his new world, still enough a part of the old one, so that he saw his life and abilities often through the eyes of the old world inhabitants, the others who might scorn him or set him up for ridicule. They represented parts of his own psyche, still at that level of consciousness, not having quite assimilated the greater knowledge or experience. So he felt he needed protection, the protection that would beautifully, cleverly, and insidiously serve all of his purposes, allowing him to go ahead as he wanted to, but with control drawn back to the body's discontent. The discontent would still keep him at home working, and yet also serve as a control against too much inner spontaneity until he learned that he could indeed trust the new world of experience. What I am saying will make greater sense when you read his paper. Give us a moment. You're attending class and hence symbolically standing with him as he relays this greater understanding, not distantly but to individual encountered human beings. A good point, important on your part, for you have never before been willing to encounter others at such a direct level. This means symbolically that your painting will also achieve an even greater depth, because you are willing to encounter the emotionalism that is always highly personal, that speaks out through each portrait. You have a good understanding of reincarnation that Ruber has lacked, yet that has been counterbalanced by a disinclination to encounter personalities directly in contact in the present. Ruber would do that, while closing off reincarnational aspects because of possible past emotional content. Now, this is because Ruber did not want to encounter his own past emotional history in this life. You have become willing now to encounter present personalities directly. Class is simply your format in that respect. This reaction, however, helped Ruber to overcome his blacks against reincarnational aspects, and so each of you helped the other in that regard. Your suggestion given earlier this evening is highly pertinent and will prove effective. There is far more I could say. The time this evening does not permit it, though I can talk as long as you can write. My consciousness does not normally upgrade at the same speed as yours either. So what I am saying has long ago, in my terms, been said, while in your present it is new, or just reaching you. Ruber should have another experience involving me or my voice. Make sure that you see his paper, however, and now I bid you a fond and indeed the most fond good evenings. Ron said, "Thank you," said, "Good night." They said, "Rupert's science kit is something picked up, in your terms, from another probability, in which he has learned all there is to learn about science as you know it. That is why he can enter into the reality of electrons so easily. Good evening." Ross said, "Good evening," Seth.